All right, everybody. It's Monday, June 2nd, and we're gonna go over the trade that we took today on the Nasdaq shorts. Today was a beautiful trading day. It was a great way to start off the week. Could have made way more money than I made, but I'm doing this new challenge with Tradify, and I gotta follow this consistency rule. So I wasn't able to capitalize like I actually would have liked to, but it's all good. We're gonna jump into our trade markups and breakdowns. But before we do that, let me go ahead and actually screenshot a picture of my trades because I want them to be, well, you know what? I actually got a live video um, of exactly when I took my entry, but I still wanted to go over this real quick. So yeah, so let's go into our markups for the day and just go to our 4 hour, our 1 hour, and just see what was available. So coming into the day, looking at the 4 hour chart, doing our markups, we see we just had this bearish 4 hour gap right here. Nothing too crazy. We had our bearish fair value gap right here. We also had a lot of liquidity resistance, and we had some support time resistance. So we'll mark that up right there as well. And then of course we got some right here, and if I'm not mistaken, okay, they got filled in. That wasn't a balance, but yeah, here goes some more support. All right, so that's what I was looking at on the 4 hour chart. If we go down to the 1 hour chart, we can see that I knew it. We have a bullish fair value gap. So what I'm going to do is mark this up and get rid of that. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this. Then I got this bullish fair value gap holding right there. All right. So coming into the day, I kind of was bullish to be honest, and I'm gonna explain why in just a second. Okay, so this is at 8 o'clock right here. At 8 o'clock, we can see that. Look, coming into the day, we can see that we respected this bullish fair value gap right here. I just woke up from a nap, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. We respected this bullish fair value gap right here, right? This was insinuating to me that, okay, the market doesn't want to continue to push down and grab the liquidity below. The market wants to grab the liquidity from above, right? So let me go ahead and mark up London's lows and London's highs as well. This is going to be London's lows right here. And as of right now, London's highs is sitting right here. So I was bullish going into the day just because of the fact that I see the market pull back and we retrace. We came into this bullish fair value gap on the hourly time frame, but we didn't even get close to the consequent encroachment at this 50% level of this range. We didn't get close to it, even if we do stretch this all the way out. Okay, well, we stretched out the bullish fair value gap all the way. We did tap that consequent encroachment, but we didn't close below that consequent encroachment, right? So being that we didn't close below this consequent encroachment, it was insinuating that the price didn't want to grab the liquidity from the previous week's low or this bullish fair value gap. It wanted to continue to seek liquidity to the upside. That was my initial thought process going into the market. But the market opened at 9, so let's go down to the 15-minute chart and see where London's high wound up closing. All right, so London's high wound up being right here, and before, I trade my ICT macro between 9:45 and 10:20. So right here at the opening, I'm gonna go ahead and mark up the things that I'm looking for as well. All right, so right here at the opening at 9:30, we can see that we came and we swept the liquidity, the buy side liquidity, all the way from right here, and we also broke structure to the upside. So our first criteria, a few of our criteria to get into trades were already met before our ICT macro at 9:45. So we already had a liquidity sweep, a liquidity run on London's highs right here, right? We have the liquidity run, a liquidity sweep on London's highs. We also had our breaking structure to the upside, right? And if you guys can see, we got displacement, but the displacement is going to both sides. We got bullish and bearish displacement, so you really don't know which displacement to trust, right? So coming into today, what I noticed is that after we got a run on London's highs and we broke structure to the upside, price came back down. Let me rewind it real quick. So right at the start of 9:45, okay? At the opening, the market got an extreme bullish push. It did that so that it can take out the liquidity from London's highs, and also it can take out this buy side liquidity from this swing high right over here. Once the market got to that level and it started to reverse, it was immediately signaling to me that, okay, this probably will be a reversal signature. And although I am bullish for the day, I understand the market cycles. Once we got a huge push up to the upside and we took out this liquidity, and I'm seeing reversal signatures like this pattern right here, this bearish Harami pattern. Once I'm seeing stuff like that, it's signaling to me that, okay, the market possibly wants to reverse, and we took the liquidity from London's highs, but now we probably want to go from this external liquidity to external liquidity right here, or at least to this internal liquidity right here at these lows. So at this point, I'm looking at this sell side liquidity to at least try and be taken out once I start seeing these reversal signatures appearing, right? So I'm looking at the 3-minute. I'm seeing that we closed strongly outside of this level, this 1 hour liquidity resistance. It turned into support for a little bit, and then it held, right? We got a bearish closure below 50% of this level, below the consequent encroachment of this liquidity support that's turning into resistance real time. So now at this point, I'm seeing that we got a change in the steady direction. We got a market structure shift to the downside, right? And you can see it very, very clearly on the 1-minute chart. From right here is where we have our breaking structure. I call it my pivot point. A lot of people call it market structure shift. Market structure shift, pivot point is what I call it, okay? I'm seeing that we close outside of this level with a strong bullish closure. We're starting to reverse, right? The market shifted its direction back to this side, leaving us a bearish fair value gap right here and a bearish fair value gap right here. So at this point, I just want to mark up the bearish fair value gaps and see if I can find a good 1-minute, a good 3-minute entry, right? And one thing I'm also noticing is that we have a lot of internal liquidity right here with these bullish fair value gaps that needed to be filled. So with me knowing all that, I wasn't scared to go ahead and take a sell right here. And let me go to the 3-minute so I can show y'all. At this point, now we have manipulation right here, right? And we have our displacement. We got our bearish displacement. And on the 3-minute chart, I'm seeing a lot of wicks. So we got a wick right here and we got another wick with this Harami pattern, this bearish engulfing. So with me seeing all that on top of us reversing and closing below this consequent encroachment at this 50% level, it was good for me to go. And I have a recording of me actually like doing the trade live, so it's way more accurate so we can see exactly how I got in. But if we just looking at the 3-minute breakdown, this would definitely have been the trade we wanted to take, right? And let's just see what wants to happen. Entering off of this bearish fair value gap, and we can see price came down and gave us everything we wanted and then some. So I was in and out of this move. I took a quick 60 points, made a quick 1,000 and got off of the chart. This was like one of the quickest trades I've ever taken, and it really was that simple, if I'm being quite honest. The only thing that was special about this trade was just analyzing the reversal signatures. You know, you want to put your stops right above that last displacement candle, right? Price came and retapped that bearish fair value gap, right? It tapped it right there. Tapped it right there. Once we see that break and retest of this bearish fair value gap, it was go time. It was time to get in. Now I do have, like I said, I have a video of me doing it real time, so I'm gonna post that. But this is just the overall gist of just how to trade, what it went. 1 and 2 getting your 60 points. I'm not gonna lie. But like I said, I was dependent on price to come back down and take out this sell side liquidity once I saw the reversal signatures at this liquidity resistance level. So like I said, I didn't capitalize and get the actual whole trade, but this was my trade today. We had news at 10, and I usually don't take these type of trades right before news, but I think today it was just so clean and I was just in the flow state. I really was in the flow state when I approached the charts, and it just made it really easy for me to just go ahead and execute on that trade. But this is the trade right here. All of my confluences were met, right? We had a liquidity sweep pre-market, pre-ICT macro. We had a breaking structure to the upside pre-ICT macro, right? We started seeing this manipulation right here once these wicks started forming, and once we didn't get any more bullish closures above this swing high, right, we saw the manipulation start, and we saw our market structure shift towards the downside, our pivot point in the market, right? So boom, liquidity run, breaking structure to the upside. Now we got a manipulation, market structure shift to the downside with a fair value gap forming right here. Get in right there, boom, quick 1 and 2. Valid breaking retest of a key level, and your breaking retest of a key level is right here. So you could have either used this liquidity resistance for your breaking retest, or you could have gotten in on like that where that 1 minute fair value gap is, as you guys can see, and enter right there. But that's pretty much today's trade. Excuse me if it was kind of choppy and the explanation was kind of bad. I'm just now waking up, and it's my first time doing one in a few weeks, so I'm not as smooth as concise as I would like to be. But this was a beautiful trade, and as we can see, it wound up giving us a good 150 points. I couldn't take all of it, but this was just a beautiful setup, if I'm being quite honest with y'all. If you didn't catch that setup and you really wanted to wait until after 10 o'clock to take a setup, it was still opportunity, as we can see, right? The market came down and they took out this sell side liquidity at 10 o'clock. Once they took out this sell side liquidity at 10 o'clock, right here, we also have a market structure shift. So once again, the market began to pivot at this point. Well, it really was a breaking structure. The market began to pivot and break structure at this point, right? So we got our liquidity sweep, we got our market structure shift, and let's see if we could have had some type of fair value gap up here. I think, you know what, as a matter of fact, we did. We had a fair value gap up here right here on the 1 minute chart. I remember it. We had this bullish fair value gap. So either way it goes, today was a great day to make money in the market, right? Okay, if we want to do our criteria for this particular trade setup, we had a liquidity sweep right here at 10:01. We had a market structure shift up here right here at 10:07, right? And now we're just waiting on a breaking retest of a key level or fair value gap, and that would be right here. Put in your stops below the displacement candle, so you'll have like a 34-point stop loss, aiming for the internal liquidity right here, giving you a good 1 and 2. And scan back to the 3 minute chart. You see we got our entry trigger right here, stops below this. Boom, and that trade would have worked out. Liquidity sweep, market shift to the upside. We had our bullish displacement right here. We had our bullish displacement right here. So boom, liquidity sweep, market shift to the upside, bullish displacement, valid breaking retest of a key level or fair value gap right here. Quick 1 and 2, and you could have made your money right there on that setup as well. And it was after 10 o'clock, in case you was just feeling nervous or a little hesitant about news. It was after 10 o'clock, right at 10:09. You could have got you a beautiful entry, and you could have made good money for today. And it actually wound up running for a lot of points. So yeah, those are the trades for today. It wound up perfectly. I think one thing I learned from today, I'm not gonna lie, I did overtrade after I made my profits, because I saw how much profit I could have had, and I couldn't get all of it because of the consistency rules. So I did tweak out a little bit. I'll be lying if I said I did, and I definitely did. But those was the moves for today. I didn't point out the manipulation, so that would have been your manipulation right there. After this sell side liquidity was taken out, that's all your manipulation. You got your displacement, boom. So opportunities to buy and sell in the market today, as long as you was paying attention to the confluences. It was a beautiful, beautiful trading day today. Hopefully we can finish the week out strong, up 1,000 on the account, and we're gonna keep this shit pushing. We're gonna keep this shit rolling. I'll see y'all on the next breakdown, and they just gonna keep getting better and better. So yeah.